TDA is the Office of Temporary and Disability Assistance, which is the support enforcement agency in this state. TDA is the Office of Temporary and Disability Assistance, which is the support enforcement agency in this state. Okay, so 580-506. Okay, so this is what this is talking about is when an income payer or employer receives directly an income withholding order issued by another state or a foreign support order, and they want to contest the validity of it. So what do they have to do? The first thing they have to do is they have to register this order here in New York. They have to register it and file a contest the same way that they would in 602, which is like the 20-day rule thing. They have to do it within 20 days, and then they have to request a hearing, basically. So again, 506, talking about contest by obligor, they have to register the order and do the same procedure. Okay, so now I'm going to do the actual language that's in the book. It says, contest by obligor. An obligor may contest the validity or enforcement of an IWO issued in another state and received by registering the order in a tribunal of this state, so that's New York Family Court, and filing a contest to that order as provided in Part 6, or otherwise contesting the order in the same manner as if the order had been issued by a tribunal of this state. The obligor shall give notice of the contest to, and these three: 1, support enforcement agency providing services to the obligee; 2, each employer that received the thing directly; and 3, the person designated to receive the payments, or if no one's designated, to the obligee. 1, support enforcement agency providing services to the obligee; 2, each employer that received the thing directly; and 3, the person designated to receive the payments, or if no one's designated, to the obligee. All right, so next is 580-507. This is called administrative enforcement of support orders. Party or support enforcement agency seeking to enforce an order or an income withholding order, or both, issued in another state or a foreign support order may send the documents required for registering the order directly to a support enforcement agency. So they don't have to necessarily send it to New York Family Court. They can send it to the TDA. So upon receipt of the documents, the duty of the support enforcement agency is to try any administrative procedure authorized by law to enforce the order administratively. If the obligor doesn't contest administrative enforcement, they don't have to register it. The order doesn't have to be registered if he doesn't contest it, so that's fine. But then it says if the obligor does contest the validity or administrative enforcement, so I think it really means if he's contesting it to the TDA, then the TDA shall register the order pursuant to this article. Now, 601, registration of order for enforcement. A support order, or IWO, issued in another state or a foreign order may be registered in this state for enforcement. And then it goes into 602, which is in a bunch of other videos. So it's already in video. Think about the 2 copies, 1 certified, all that shit. Basically, to register the order, you can send the following documents to an appropriate tribunal in the state, or as we learned in 506 and 507, to the TDA. A letter of transmittal requesting registration and enforcement. 2 copies, 1 certified, of all orders to be registered, including any modification of the order. 3, a sworn statement about the arrearage, or a certified statement by the custodian of the record showing the amount of any arrearage. 4, the name of the obligor, and if known, his social security number, his employer, description of the property exempt from execution located in this state. And except as otherwise provided in 312 of this part, the name of the obligee and the name of whoever, and the name of the person who's supposed to get the support payments remitted to them. Then, so this is what's not in anybody's question, so I am going to go over this. Upon request for registration and the receipt of these documents, the tribunal that receives this stuff, they have to they shall cause the order to be filed as an order of a tribunal of this state or a foreign support order, together with 1 copy of the documents, regardless of their form. That's in sub B. Okay, subdivision C says that basically you can file comparable pleading at the same time as your request for registration and enforcement or later. So if you want more money, you can register the order and also file a petition for modification saying you want more, saying that you want more money at the same time or at another time.
You trying to park there?
Yeah, this is like a thing on this block where they fucking purposely take up 2 spots and like yell at you if you try to actually park. I'm like a fucking lawn ornament on this block right now. Sidetracked. Okay, so C, a petition or comparable pleading seeking a remedy that must be affirmatively sought under the law of this state. So basically more money may be filed at the same time as the request for registration or later. The petition or pleading must state the grounds for the relief, must specify the grounds for the remedy sought. D. If 2 or more orders in effect, the person seeking registration shall also do these 3 things. So if 2 or more orders are in effect, there are extra duties of the person seeking registration. 1. Furnish to the tribunal a copy of every support order asserted to be in effect in addition to the documents specified in this section. 2. Specify the order alleged to be the controlling order. And 3. Specify the amount of consolidated arrears, if any. E. A request for a determination which is the controlling order may be filed separately or with a request for registration and enforcement or for registration and modification. The person requesting registration shall give notice of the request to each party whose rights may be affected by the determination. Okay, 603, effect of registration for enforcement. So basically the first thing they're doing in this section is they're giving us the definition of registration without actually saying definition. Because A says a support order or IWO issued in another state or a foreign support order is registered when the order is filed in the registering tribunal of this state. B. A registered order issued in another state or foreign country is enforceable in the same manner and subject to the same procedures as an order issued by a tribunal of this state. C. Except as otherwise provided in this article, a tribunal of this state shall recognize and enforce, but may not modify a registered order if the issuing tribunal had jurisdiction. 580-604, choice of law. Except as otherwise provided in subdivision D, the law of the issuing state or foreign country governs. 1. The nature, extent, amount, and duration of current payments under a registered support order. 2. The computation and payment of arrearages and accruable interest on the arrearages under the support order. 3. The existence and satisfaction of other obligations under the support order. B. In a proceeding for arrears. In a proceeding for arrears under a registered support order. This is for arrears under a registered support order. Whoever has the longer statute of limitation, that's what applies. C. A responding tribunal of this state shall apply the procedures and remedies of this state to enforce current support and collect arrears and interest due on a support order of another state or foreign country that's registered in this state. D. After a tribunal of this state or another state determines which is the controlling order and issues an order consolidating arrears, if any, a tribunal of this state... Okay, I had to start over because this paragraph seems like too important to just, drone on over. Okay, it says, after a tribunal in this state or another state determines which is the controlling order and issues an order consolidating arrears, if any, New York shall prospectively apply the law of the state or foreign country issuing the controlling order. Not New York law. They issue, once they decide that this other order is the controlling order and they issue an order consolidating arrears, New York shall prospectively apply the law of that state including its law on interest on arrears, on current and future support, and on consolidated arrears. Totally different than talking about statute of limitations. Then it's whatever's longer. Okay, so to just review this, basically New York law applies to the remedies, procedures and remedies of New York apply. Okay, so the procedures and remedies in New York law, that's the choice of law. Procedures and remedies, New York. For nature, extent, amount, and duration of support payments, computation of arrearages, accrual of interest in arrearages, existence of satisfaction and other obligations, that's all the issuing state's law. Interest on arrears, current and future support, that's the controlling order or the issuing state's law. And then the last option is when there's a proceeding for arrears, the statute of limitations, it's whatever's longer.